Howdy, I'm Matt, and in this episode we are going to be chatting motors, and I'm guessing that you might be like me, and you may have sinned. You might have boxes like this full of parts, and that's what we're going to be looking at. I need to clear this poo hole of a desk, and we're going to have a bit of a chit chat while I'm doing that. And then we're going to go and take a look in my motors box. Now, let me go and grab that a second, because I think you're going to be pleasantly shocked on the number of motors which I have, and then we can have a chit chat about motors overall. So where's the motors box? I have, I kid you not, that many motors. So we will be taking a good chit chat about those in just a few moments time. Now, in the meantime, before we get there, is that I would like to really exercise and delve into the CAFBAW episodes. Now, still nobody has been and guessed what CAFBAW stands for. I'll give you a little hint. It's chat and then something. So it's a bit of a chit chat at the workbench. So we're at the workbench now. I've been and sorted out the bonsai wing. It will now balance up almost on their marked CG. Well, one thing which I did notice is that they did put quite a bit of differential in the servos, or in the control horns. What I mean by that is that the control horn was forwards of the crease line, so that they got differential in there. I don't know what the reasoning behind that was, but hey ho, something I only just noticed. I got bloody landing gear off Hobby King Vampire. Anyway, this one's due to go out and get flown once the weather gets better. So I'll stick that one down there out of the way. As you can tell, I've been here really getting back into the older modelling doodah again. And you can tell that by just the sheer state of my desk. I've had a busy good couple of hours at the desk. And I am doing my best here just to tidy up. Because I've been so busy with work. It's been absolutely bonkers, and then I think over the past week I've published a good 6 videos or so. There's been more than that which I've been and created. I've just not been and published per se to the outside world just yet. Oh, that was the propeller which came with the bonsai, which is a clockwise one. So it only just about made it as a glue spreader. Now, my desk is an absolute poo hole, and the reason why it's been an absolute poo hole is, like I said, I've been here working away on different models and stuff, and I've been here trying to fix this bloody bonsai wing. Absolute pain in the ass, and I do feel a little... I am actually a little bit... I don't want to say too much on it, because I do feel I've been a bit negative in the last video or two. And I don't want that to repeat, because that's really not me. I'm not a negative person. I'm normally a very happy person, but that bonsai really did piss me off, because I do feel that they let us down. And they have not improved a timeless classic. And that's not the way things are supposed to work. Things are supposed to improve over time and not get worse. Which is what they did. So that's all I'm saying on the topic of the bonsai wing, because at the moment that frankly is a sore point. So I may just get myself tidied up. Well, depends how tidied up you want to get, to be honest. I'm kind of tempted just to shove it all off the side, but the missus will absolutely murder me if I do that. That was the instructions to the Harrier, which is ready to be flown, ironically. But the time which I had, let's spit my words out. The time which I spent dicking around with the bonsai wing was the time it would have taken to fly up to the flying club and be able to go and fly it. And of course that didn't happen, did it? So anyway, I've got bits and bobs kicking around here. I actually am just going to pause a moment just to stick these bits in, because I don't want to lose them all, because there's little washers and stuff on the desk. The bigger stuff I can push out of the way. These few little bits, no. And if you're wondering what I'm tidying up those little clevis tools for servos. And I do have a little box of servo components, and I do have a box of servos over there as well. And I think that it would make quite a good chit-chat for us to just to see in some of the stuff which I've been and bought, so that you can then go on, and this is why we're going to have a chit-chat about motors in just a moment, is that you can see what I've been and bought and what I've been using over the past year or so. And I've bought far too many motors, as you do. We'll have a good chit chat about them, and so that at least you get kind of half an idea of what I've been buying and why I've been buying it and which models I've been buying it for as well. So there we go, we've got a bit of a tidy desk. Let's get some of these motors up on the workbench, and then we'll have a little bit of a chit chat. So there you go, that wasn't too bad, was it? Righty ho. Let's pick out the Oddity. Oh, you're on a bit of an angle up there, aren't you? There we go, that's a little bit better. Right, let's pick out the Oddity in the box. And the Oddity is this one here, which is a huge great big motor with, I'll say, an 11x6, I reckon, propeller. That's quite a harsh thing on there. It's got a big fat ESC and a beck attached to it. And what this is the motor out of a J3 Cub, which I bought off Hobby King, and it was an absolutely beautiful looking model, but the landing gear was utter rubbish to say the least. It was a J3 Cub, and it was the Grasshopper, which was the green version. And Hobby King do several versions of it, and they're all exactly the same, and they've all got exactly the same issue. Landing gear, terrible. Absolute terrible. Right, let's move on quite quickly. We've got a pair of motors here. Now, these are the Emax. Now, you look at that one. There you go, you look at that one, I'll look at this one. It's an Emax AX2212 980 kV LiPo 2S to 3S. Now, I have flown these with 4S and they didn't get hot, and that was with 11x7 propellers of all things. Now, the reason why I know they didn't get hot, because these are the two motors which came off, you may recognise the motor mount, off the big, what was I call it? What was the big K-Fu? Big K-Fu. What did I nickname that one? I was sure it was something quite rude. Anyway, I've had those two motors on the front running on 4S, and they actually work brilliantly. Now, I've also used these on the Hummer 3D, because it was a 1000 kV with 10x5 props, and they did alright. So yeah, if you want something which will swing a decent prop, ideally only up to 3S, then something like this would be a good choice. That said, I think there was a 1000 kV Turnigy D2826-ish, which was a slightly more kV, slightly bigger can, and it was a way better suited motor to the Hummer 3D. Now, where did I get these two from originally was a big 450 style quad, which I came to the conclusion that I really was never going to fly, so I dismantled it and got the parts out of it. Next up, we have a Turnigy SK3. What have we got on here? 3536, which actually, ironically, with this SK3 motor, it's quite small compared to if we have a look to another 3536 motor, which is there. The can is a fair chunk smaller in comparison. There you go, you can see the difference. But that top bit up there, to be honest, is probably just all metalwork, so the coil size is probably about the same. Anyway, what did I buy this one for? I bought this for, I had a big flying wing, which I bought as a kit from a German company and never actually got around to building it. So that one has been sat in the parts box for a year or more, and I've not really used it on any other motor. I think on any other model. I think one other model which I did use that same motor on was the Phantom FX61 flying wing, which I used that on. Next up, we have a pair of Turnigy D3536-5, and these are 1450 kV motors. and I have been using these on the back of a Texumo wing. Now I've actually come to the conclusion that these are the best motors for a Texumo wing. Now why do I know that these are the best motors is because I tried many different motors and prop combos on my Texumo wing. I tried high KV like 2200, 2700, 3000, 3500 KV, and I tried going the higher route to get more speed on, but the thing is that it just got screamier and screamier and screamier, and it was not a very enjoyable experience on the flight line. So what I did was I thought to myself, this ain't working out. This is not working out at all. So for a laugh, I tried a bigger can motor with a bigger propeller, and it was absolutely brilliant. Something like that. It doesn't have like the real like start of punch because it's got to swing a bigger propeller, so it needs to get up to speed. It takes a little bit longer to get up to speed. But that said, once it's up and going, Jesus, it's got some pace on it. So yeah, the best motor for a Texumo flying wing is a D3536 1450 kV motor. Absolutely brilliant things. Next thing, so as you can see, I've been up into the higher KVs. Now, I frankly don't know why I've got this, or why I've still got this, is because this was the motor which I tried in the, what was the black and yellow wing, which I've forgotten what it's called. TBRC, Reflex 38. This is the motor which I tried in that one originally. And the issue is that the NTM motors, especially the higher KV ones, is that the bearings were just shit and have gone in the motor. So it's very, very, very noisy. And also a motor like that as a pusher motor is extremely noisy. As a front-facing motor, as a tractor config, to pull it that way, much, much better and much less noise. Like I said, this is a bit of a confession because I have collected a large number of motors. Now, what I am going to do is just save us a little bit of time, is because I've got a bag full of motor mounts, motor screws, all the bits and bobs which one might need with motors. Now, what have we got in here? I say, look, I've got brand new motors which I've just not really got around to using. A BR2212 1000 kV motor. Now, the other one of these, I bought a pair of them. The other one of these I used in the EPP Eagle with a, I think it was a 10 by, no, it was a slow fry prop, 10x47 prop on it. Really, really good combo. In there, is a standard 1806 2280 kV motor. Those are the really cool. Could be a good replacement for the Bonsai wing, for example. I did use one on the Hornet FPV flying wing. And then there's a 22.8 1100 kV, which is very similar in there. That's the top off thingy wing. What else we got kicking around in here? This was off a quad, no, this wasn't off a quad I made. That's a 2205 Pro 2600 kV motor, and that was the spare Raystar one, which I did have on here for a quad, which I frankly never got around to finish it. Excuse me, so it's still over there. Oh look, there's a yap doodah. That's a Beck, not a doodah, so not as bad as that one which was in the Bonsai. This is now I know why. Right, so this one here has got no branding on it, but I've written 2600 kV on it. It's a D2826 can. I recognise the can, but it's just got DYS G power written on it, so it hasn't got put like a branded Turnigy sticker on it. And the reason why I'm laughing to myself is because that's the motor which I put on the front of the DW Shining 3D wing, and is the reason why we set fire to that ESC that day. I don't know if you remember, did its maiden and it caught fire and I ran across it and put it out. We'll just take the battery off it, and that's the reason why, because it turns out it's a 2600 kV motor. Brilliant, good one, Matt. There's one in here with a broken prop. I haven't put any, so what I do on bad motors is that I either rip the seat circlip off the back and then nick all the magnets out of them, or I write X on there. Now, this one's got a broken prop, quietly bad. quite badly broken as well. But that is a D28 26 2200 kV motor, and it's one of those motors which is one of those fantastic combinations. So I'm actually going to pause here for a moment just to make a special note of this motor, because this is one of the best motors which you can have out, the best motor and prop combos, because it's so reliable and it has worked for a long period of time for me, and I hope it will do for you, which is that the D28 26 2200 kV with a 6x4 or 6x4 prop on 3S is a fantastic, and a 30 amp ESC is a brilliant motor and prop combo. Now, to give you a heads up, you can run this with a 40 amp ESC with a 6x4 prop on 4S, but just be aware you'll only get about 40 flights out of it before you break the bearings, before it gets really noisy in there. 3S not an issue, 4S is an issue. So if you do run it on 4S, either downsize the prop down to a 5-inch, or carry on and run it on a 6-inch, but up the ESC to 40 amps, and just be aware that you will burn out the knack of the bearings sooner or later. But brilliant little motor combo, suitable for pretty much most models, to say the least. You could stick that on the back of a Texumo, for example. Wing Z84 is another prime example. A smaller model which needs plenty of poke, this is a perfect motor for it. I'm just looking down there, and the Skywalker Smart has a pair of these on the back. If I wanted something a bit more speedy for the big Harrier, the Reptile, Harrier S1100, a pair of these would be a good choice, to say the least. Oh wow, okay. Technically this is, let me just check the wires on here. This is an original one. Okay. We've hit gold here again, okay? In front of us again we have another one of those timeless, or one of those outstanding motor and prop combos. Okay, I'm going to put that up on there so you can read it. This is the SunnySky X2216 1250 kV motor with it is an 8x6 which I've got on there. This is one of the best prop motor combos ever. Okay, normally you would see a motor and prop combo on from this on the Mini Talon, for example. And this is what I run on my Mini Talons, and they're absolutely brilliant. You can cruise around at 35 to 40 miles an hour, pulling only 4 amps on 4S, okay, with one of these motors. Absolutely lethal prop and motor combo. And obviously you run this with a 40 amp ESC. Now if you're going to run this with a 3S battery, again you keep with a 40 amp ESC, but you then up the prop from 8x6 to 9x6, and then you get enough thrust on there. Now it's not built for speed, but I want to give like a couple of examples of where I've used this motor. Mini Talon. Remember my biplane Mini Talon? I had a pair of those on there. The Harrier, which is down here to my right, where I nicked the motors off the biplane, by Mini Talon, and I've got a pair of those SunnySky motors on the back of there. Now I know they're more expensive than other motors, but they just cannot be compared against for just fantastic, reliable powerhouses. They are that motor with an 8x6 is one of my favourite go-to motor and prop combos. I have also got that motor and prop combo on the Team Legit FG36 up there. Brilliant. It's because you can fly slow and not pull very many amps. You can get a good amount of pace on around mid-throttle to catch up with any other model on the flight line. And then, if you need full knacker, you can give it all the beans on the throttle and get across the flight line pretty damn sharpish. Now, obviously, it's not as fast as maybe sticking a 3000 kV NTM on the back and raping every single amp out of the back of the battery, but for a great all-round motor, cannot be touched. In fact, I think I've even got, I've got that same motor and same propeller on the right wing spec wing as well. unbelievably good motor and prop combination. Remember, 40 amp ESC, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about many other motors, but what I'll do with these two explicitly, it's not a good, well look, maybe it is a good advocate sign that I've got a motor in here with half a prop missing. I'll put links to both of these in the video description because I so highly rate these combinations down there, and I'll also write down the ESC counts as well and prop sizes for different motor sizes. Absolutely brilliant. These two so far are just my go-to motors for most applications because they're just so good. If you want something with some top end speed, you go for this one. If you want something which has got like an all-round good band and also you want efficiency, SunnySky all the way. Brilliant, brilliant motors. I'm actually quite pleased because I didn't realise I had that one there in the box. I have no idea what the... Oh, that's the 2206 motors which I bought off GearBest and I've never used. So, yeah, they're going to stay there. Oh, hello, hello. Now, we were chatting about little powerhouses and little prop and motor combos. Now, this one is going to be a little bit tricky for you to get hold of. Now, this is an Emax RS2205 Pro motor, 2300 kV. No, this is actually the 2600 kV with by the looks of it, a 5x4 prop on the back. And these absolutely haul ass. If you want a bonsai or a smaller model to absolutely scream across the flight line, and no respect for back current ratings or anything like that, the Emax RS 2205, ideally 2300 kV motor with a 5 or a 6 inch prop on it. Brilliant, brilliant combos. Now, you can't get... These have become a little harder and harder to get hold of. So if you see them for sale, grab one and you just won't be disappointed with it. An absolute brilliant proper motor combo. Same for, if you can't get hold of the Emax, get hold of the DYS SC2205 2300 kV motor. Again, corking little motor, perfect motor with a 6 or 5 inch prop on the back of, say, a micro Sky Hunter or a smaller wing where you need plenty of oomph on there. Yeah, DYS SC2205 corking little motors. Corking, and again, if you can get hold of them now, because they have been out for quite a while. Oh, look, there you go. Remember the twin Texumo which I had? With the twin motors? DYS 28, 26, 2200 kV motors with tri-blades on there, which I strongly don't suggest because they will absolutely muller batteries. We have some unknown motor, 28, 22, 1450 kV, which actually, I'm going to put that to one side. That would be, remember I mentioned that screw up? I had that 2600 kV motor on the DW Shining Wing over 3D model. Really, I needed a much lower kV motor. So I tell you what, I'm going to put that to one side, and I'll put that on with an 8x6, 8x4 prop, a slow fly one, and that should be a great combination. So I'm going to put that to one side. There's another one of those DYS motors. Very, very cool. Oh, these in here, I think I've got another one kicking around. This is one of those little weird motors. It's a Black Widow motor, which from Hobby King. And which one's this one? It's a 2204 1900 kV motor, and it's actually got its ESC built into it. So you just power it up and connect it up, and off it goes. Now I've got that on the CAFBAW, and they work really, really well. So I am very impressed with those ones. I did have some reservations on what they would be like, but they were actually very, very good. The one thing which I can remember, looking, I'm just trying to go around and look around the box, checking for the specifications, is that I don't think they run 4S. I think they were only rated up to 3S, which was a bit of a shame, to be honest. If they were rated up to 4S, that would be fantastic. What else have we got kicking? Oh, look, there's the other one. Is that the same thing? I think it is. Yeah, 2204 clockwise. There's another DIY. See, this is why I'm recommending motors to you, because I use them myself. Hobby King Blue ESC 30 amp, absolute corking ESC. Another DYS SC 2205 motor sat on the side. There's some more bits. Might even take this as an opportunity to tidy up my workbench. Well, tidy up the doodah and get some of these bits out the bottom of the boxes. Yeah, oh, yeah, another prop drive. Never used. That is the 1800 kV prop drive. Literally never ever used. Bought for a project, never got round to it. Oh, the Cobra 20. Yeah, this is the 221. Yeah, 2221 1860 kV motor. This was the suggested motor for the FG36. Now, don't get me wrong. This thing hauled ass across the flight line, but it absolutely screamed the house down. And that's the thing here, is that a motor like that would be fantastic if we were flying in the desert in the United States somewhere when there's nobody around there to complain. But you've heard me mention this many times before. We have neighbours literally just one field over gagging to make a complaint. It's just the way it is here in the United Kingdom, so we do have to go a little bit careful what we do with motors. So unfortunately I took that one off. So yeah, premium motor. Didn't last very long on the back of the wing because it was just too noisy. So to be honest, that one is actually, that motor is a premium motor. It's going to stay with me, but it's going to end up going on the front end of the model as a tractor motor rather than a pusher. A little Emax 1806 with a 5-inch prop. Brilliant little motors these are. You would be surprised how pokey they are. They even take 4S as well. I had one of these on the back of the Hornet FPV flying wing for a very, very long time, and it has worked really, really well. Hence why I'm in possession of a spare here, and there's another one over there in a box for the race star version. Oh look, no big surprise, a D2826 2200 kV motor. Oh look, there's a 1450 kV like the one which was over there. I must have been on a little buying spree that day. Oh, look at this dainty little thing. This is a BE 1104 7000 kV motor. I think I bought this to go on a little mini wing project which I just never got around to building. Dinky little thing it is. So yeah, that'll go back in its box. Probably needs a bit of tape on it. Should we stick a bit of tape on there? Do feel a bit sad about it because it's probably been in there for a very, very long time. It's probably going to stay in there for a very, very long time. Unless Matt's get his act together this year. Well, say it, Matt, get his act together. How many models did I fly last year? I think I beat everybody in the... I would be surprised if I was not in the top 5 people for maiden models last year in the world, just because of the sheer number of models which I flew last year. It was not uncommon for a Friday to come around and me to have 3 models to maiden on a Friday. I shit you not. That's what last year was like. It was absolutely bonkers. I went out a couple of weeks back. It was the first time out flying in absolute ages, and again, I hadn't bought much, but I had another 3 models to maiden this year. I'm thinking, what new I've already had this year as well. But anyway, last year was absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. So, right, what have we got on here? 2208 1100 kV motor. Again, I think that was more like for the EPP Eagle. I've got, what the smeg is that? That is a Race Star BR 1104 motor, 4000 kV. Let's have a look at this thing. I bet this is going to be dinky, isn't it? What's that, 11? Oh, look at the size. Oh, where's a little baby? It's tiny. Look at the size of that. And no fucking prop adapter. That is the pain in the balls with Race Star motors. They don't include prop adapters. So, yeah, diddy little thing, unfortunately, rendered useless by Race Star, which is a cheapo brand, cheaping out and not including the prop adapters. How frustrating is that? That is a right pain in the ass. What else have we got in here? We got, oh, another 1104. I got 5400 kV in there. I have bought some random stuff, to say the least. There's another motor down here, actually, ironically, which is a... I know that that's, yeah, it's a 2830 4000 kV motor, but the props on the wrong way, the shafts the wrong way round, so you'd have to reverse mount it. And I've never actually got around to using it in any model because I need to put a mount on the front of it and then put the prop adapter on the front. Of course, I've just never got around to using it, and to be honest, the only reason I bought it because it said 4000 kV on it. No big surprise. Good motors. Good motors. What's that 5 we've seen here alone? There's another DYS SC2205 motor. Oh, hello. What the smeg was that on? Oh, I know what this was on. This is the Cobra 2820 1170 kV motor, and I bought this to go on the back of the Team Legit 48 inch wing, and it was huge, bloody great big wing. But I had to make the propeller so close to the back of the foam on it. It was really, really loud, and I actually gave it to Steve, I believe, in the end. But I did salvage the motor off it because that was like 30-40 quid's worth minimum on there. Again, absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with that motor now, to say the least. Oh, anybody recognise where that motor's come from? Anybody at all? Anybody at all? That, ladies and gents, is the motor out of a Wingnetic. Oh. One of the crappy Wingnetics which I own. I did save the motor out of it. I don't know why, to be frankly honest. Oh look, I got another one of those little BE 1104 motors as well. I must have got in my head that I was going to make a micro wing or a couple of little micro wings. Got really excited about it, and then actually didn't do anything about it at all. So, oh, we got one motor left in here, which we'll take a quick look at this now. Oh, I know what this is. Again, Matt buying stuff. This is a heli drive motor, 4300 kV, but it's, oh, something's just, hello Mr. Spider. Anyway, sorry, spider just jumped down my back. 4300 kV, but again, it needs to be mounted from the front, so a very odd motor will be mounted around that, like that, or something. Again, bought because I thought it would be a good idea, and I think it's never seen the light of day since the day it turned up. And then I put it away in my little box just here, and never got around to flying it. So that is my sins of my motor box. Oh, hang on. If you thought that was the end of it, oh Lord, I have sinned. Let's talk about more motors. 2830 1000 kV. That actually might be better for the. Actually, I'm going to swap that over. I'm going to stick that on the front of the DW Shining Wing instead. Oh, these ones. These, don't knock them. This is a CF. What was it? 2805. And it just says props 5 to 6 inches on it. And I can tell you where this motor came from. This motor came off the back of my original Bonsai. My original Bonsai. Corking little motor. And this wasn't the first one which I had on there because it's only rated up to 2S. But I would run them on 3S and I would get 30 flights or so out of them and the bearings would go on them. Because I knew what I was doing, don't get me wrong, and then I'd fly them on 4S as well, just for poops and giggles, and they'd really burn out then. So yeah, corking little motors, and there's no surprise that I've also got a spare one here as well, for that one. They are really, really good. They were my favourite little doodads for the Bonsai. Oh, what have we got in here? We got a prop drive, 2700 kV. Again, this was me in my hunt for a good motor for the Tech Sumo wing. And Hobby King have stopped selling those, and there's a bloody good reason why they've stopped selling those, is because the bearings are shit on them. Now, we saw DOS, we saw Turnigy. Now, there's this other brand, which I think it's got to come out of the same factory, and they just put A on the front of them. And that's a 2600 kV. Now, I run a 2212 2200 kV motor on the back of one of the other wings up there, and it does fantastic. Oh, that was it. I run one of these A ones, an A22, I'm going to say 2826, 1400 kV motor on the back of the Reptile S800 wing. Absolutely brilliant motor with a 7 by something prop on it. Happy days. Oh, there's another one of these motors which I've had for forever and never used. Emax BL2815 for 3S. That was going to go on a bit of drain pipe with some wings which we made out of core flute, which frankly I threw away the motor absolutely ages ago, and I traded. I think actually I swapped that for a tenner. In the end, another one of those Emax motors. Remember I said that I had one of those Emax motors around. There's another one of those red Emax, but there's another one of those Emax motors. Oh, I recognise this one. This is the motor out of the Rare Bear, okay, or the Fun Fighter series. It's a D2825 1900 kV motor, and these absolutely haul ass on a 6 or a 5-inch propeller. Absolute corking motors, to say the least, just unparalleled. Oh, we've got a D3536 1000 kV motor. Again, this was me in my hunt for a perfect motor for the Tech Sumo, and you can see the pile mounting up just here. I have a minor issue with motors. We've got another prop drive. I know this one has never been used, as in a 2836 1400 kV this time. Never used. Paydis 2836 3500 kV. This is what I stuck on the back of the Tech Sumo and nearly launched it into lower orbit. That motor will pull 87 amps. It screams unbelievably well. What we got here? A prop drive, 3536 1400 kV. Probably, looking at it, never used. There should have been in fact I'm going to label this video Confessions of an RC Holic. How many motors can you own? So some random motor, I have no idea what that is, to be honest. Another one of those motors which I thought was a good idea and then turned out to not be a good idea. This is a 2836 1040 kV motor, which I have no idea why I bought it. I think I was confused. This was one of like my most earliest purchases from Hobby King, because I frankly didn't have a bloody clue what I was ordering, and I've never actually used it at all. So hey ho! Oh look, there's an extension block set for a Reptile S800. Really good one of those things. They cost like about $3, something like that. Really good. So I'll stick those in the right thing. What else we got? We're almost at the end, honest. There's another one of those A motors. They kind of work. Oh! Hello, I know what you're for. I didn't buy you, I got given you. This is a S-Line Hobby King 1812 3200 kV motor, and that is was the suggested motor for the bonsai wing. I kid you not, that was the suggested motor for a bonsai wing for the original bonsai, which Hobby King suggested. That's a little Emax 1806 motor, 2280 kV, and this one is another one of those Paydis motors, because I broke the nose cone off the shaft off the other one, so I bought myself a spare one for it. So hands up, I have an issue when it comes to motors. That is quite a pile of motors, and I really should get some models to stick these things in. Actually, just to quickly recap, I'm going to pull out two motors, or a couple of motors of reference, and then we're going to talk about them specifically, and I hope this kind of gives you a little bit of a hand when it comes to motors themselves. Those two for sure. I'm going to pick out that one there as well, and I'm going to pick out the SE2205 motor, but it could have quite easily been the RS2205 motor. Okay, so let's talk about these motors for a moment. Okay, if you want something which is cheap, works great on 2S, and is not meant for a mega fast model, not a particularly heavy model either, Yeah, the Emax 2805 motor, okay? Corking little motor. Like I said, I flew this on the back of a bonsai wing for a very long period of time. Great little motor, and as you've seen, I've got 4 of them over there. If you need a motor which has got plenty of knacker on it, so if you stuck this on the back of a bonsai wing on 4S like I did, it will rip the sky a new one. That said, it worked great on 3S as well, with a 5-inch or a 6-inch propeller, with 3S or 4S respectively. And this is the DYS SE2205 2300 kV motor, corking little motors, absolute powerhouses. And that also goes for the Emax RS 2205 2300 kV motors. Just be aware that they are 2300 kV, so the higher the kV, the faster that they spin, the screamier that they become. If you want something with a little bit more torque, okay, some more meat to get a model off the ground, okay, a Turnigy 2826 2200 kV motor with a 6x4 prop, brilliant combination to say the least. Just be aware that if you do run these on 4S, you're only going to get like 30-40 prop flights out of them before you ruin the bearings on them. But if you fly them with 3S, they'll just last forever. They just keep on going. But 4S, it's too much, and you will knacker them out. And to be honest, the star of the show and my favourite, and I genuinely mean this, my favourite motor and prop combination going is the SunnySky X22 16 1250 kV motor. Absolutely brilliant. This one, for me, covers so many bases because I can stick this in pretty much any wing, which I'm looking at over there on my shelves, and I know that it'll keep it in the sky. And I also know that it's low current usage because it's quite low kV, okay? But that said, it will still fight with the best of them in the mid to top end of the throttle range as well. And it won't completely muller the battery. So for me, that's happy days. I can't rate the SunnySky X22 16 1250 kV any higher than that. I was genuinely happy to see one in here, and I use it. It's literally installed on the back of the FG36 because that made that model flyable again, because I couldn't use the 2221 1870 kV motor which we saw for the Cobra one, the really expensive one, because that one screamed its bollocks off. Instead, I put one of these on the FG36. I now fly the FG36 more than I have ever done, and I so enjoy that model because it's just got the whole range covered. I also use this motor on the right wing spec wing as well. Probably, if the guys from like Team Legit or like Chris Click from Right Wing were watching this, they would be mortified by me saying that you should put such a lame motor on the back of one of their models. But the thing is that I fly them. And the reason why I fly them is because a motor like this covers all the power band. Obviously, we don't have super top end, but then again, I'm not racing. I'm mucking around, chasing in and around trees and stuff. But I get loads of flight time out of them. And they're really quiet because they're lower kV. So that does suit my needs very, very well. And I've just put a pair of these on the back of the Harrier. I've got... I had 2 of those on the front of the biplane Mini Talon, and I've got one of those in the back of the Nano Talon. To be honest, there is no better motor for the Nano Talon than this. There's no better, right now for me, there's no better motor than that motor for the other wings which I mentioned up there. Probably, plus I want to, I put it in a great big 3D model as well. Loads of welly. Anyway. As you can tell, I have a little bit of a passion for motors. I've been a bit of a good boy lately because I kind of knew how many motors I have had here. So I am just going to tidy up some of these more obscure motors and get those in the bottom of the bag, because I frankly don't think that they're going to get used anytime soon. Like, what the fuck am I going to do with that? And no apologies for language, because I just genuinely don't know what on earth I am going to do with that. So just nuts. Absolutely, well, literally nuts. On the topic of motors as a whole, don't throw away anything when it comes to motors. especially screws, and especially those V screws, you know, the ones which have got the sunken head on them. Don't throw away those, because they are like rocking horse poop, because you just can never find them when you need one. Yeah, there are some, and I fully admit this, I've got some odd motors in here, and some of these motors came from a time when I bought motors and, yeah, I really wasn't paying much attention. Or I didn't, no, not paying, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the difference between KVs and how important it was to have the right KV for the different circumstances. As such, I bought many motors because I just, I just didn't know what I was doing. But thankfully not too many. I didn't blow too much money when I was doing that. And I'm sure they can all be used again. So I may have just taken a few props off, so they'll actually fit back in the bag a little bit more nicely, because I don't think I'm going to be using these for a while. And yeah, on that note, if you have, and there's me just tidying up my workbench. Remember, this is a CAFBAW episode, so it is a good old chit-chat at the workbench. Now, if you have any questions about motors and props and things like that, please just ask in the comments section underneath this video. Or, to be frankly honest, if you want a little bit more of a speedier response, I'll put a link to the Facebook group down in the video description for you as well. And pop across to the Facebook group, so that you don't only just take my opinion on motors for maybe a specific model. Pop it in the Facebook group, say that maybe you're thinking about what motor you should use for a model XYZ. Pop that in the Facebook group, just let them know which model you've got, and then ask the community, because there are over 2,500 pilots in that Facebook group now, and that's 2,500 cool pilots like me and you with an absolute stunning breadth of knowledge for when it comes to fixed wing RC models. And obviously there's some guys in there which fly quads and stuff, but the Facebook group really is there's a load of mud on the front of that one. The Facebook group really is what you make of it. So if you see a question and you know the answer to it, then jump in and have a go, you know. And inversely, if you're stuck on something, I hope you get the information which you're looking for, because I really didn't have anything like this for me when I first started. Hence, that's why I made many, or more than one, poor buying decisions when it came to choices of motors, because I didn't really have that much in the way of flying buddies back then, and I certainly didn't have a Facebook group with 2,500 cool blokes in it, which I knew weren't going to take the piss out of me if I asked what I felt may have been a bit of a daft question. So I think that's a big enough plug for the Facebook group, don't you? Now this bloody thing won't come off. Come on. I'm trying to get this propeller off so I can... Come on. Oh, don't you just hate those prop adapters? They really are terrible. They really are bad. I wonder if I grip it from this side. I think that was just the trick. There we go. Off we toodles. So yeah, I'm doing myself a bit of a favour here, and getting my motors box sorted out. Again, what am I going to do with a 3,500 kV motor, which I know that it screams its knackers off? I've got a prop drive 1800 kV, I've got a prop drive 1400 kV motor in there. Now of course that is now logged in the back of my head that I do have them here, and I may use them at a later date. Now I actually am going to leave that propeller on there, because I know that's where it's sorted. So I'm going to get all these obscure ones in and out of the way. They're in boxes, and that's just an odd one over there. Anyway, so I'm going to go and get this tidied up and put back into that box. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll fit a little bit more nicely. Next time on our CAFBAW chat, you'll have to excuse me. What we're going to do, we're going to have a look at my servos box, and we're going to have a chit chat about servos. Because, again, servos are one of those kind of confusing things, and I hope from what you see in my servo spares box, and we'll have a chit chat about other different models which we've got here with a whole variety of different servos in them, that you kind of learn from what kind of works for me, and hopefully that will kind of work for you as well. So, on that note, for myself, Matt, thank you for joining me here literally at the workbench for a bit of a chit-chat and for me to confess. No, I have a slight motors issue. In fact, fuck it, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my phone from over there. I'm going to take a photo of this and post it in the Facebook group. So if you are in the Facebook's group, look out for a photograph of this, posted probably at about 1:45 in the morning, and me saying confessions of an RC Motors addict. What are you going to think of me? Do I have an issue with motors? Let me know in the comments section underneath this video. And from myself, Matt, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm off now to enjoy what's left of this very cold cup of... definitely cold cup of coffee. And I'll see you again shortly. From myself, Matt, cheerios!